All right, good afternoon, everyone. Staying with our theme of relaxers this week, we're going to head into a whole different type of advanced relaxer service today. This is called thermal reconditioning. Has anyone ever heard of it? No? Has anyone ever heard of Japanese hair straightening? Oh, you have? Okay. So it's basically the same thing. Well, it is the same thing. They used to always be called Japanese hair straightening, and for some reason it's changed to thermal reconditioning, but it is the exact same process. It is a very long process. It takes like 4 hours on a minimum to get done, depending on how long your hair is, and it takes 2 people to do it. So, if you're going to be doing one of these, that you're going to be making some money, because if you have 2 people and you have, a whole day's worth of one person in the chair, it's going to take a while, and it's going to be some money. So it is a thiol-based product. What makes it so different is the blow dryer and the flat iron are used. The heat is what kind of like sears it in. And a lot of them have recommended that we use the ceramic plates. How many of you own a flat iron? Just stick your hand up. Okay, do you know what kind of plates your flat iron has?
Ceramic.
No.
Yay, no. Okay. Do you know the difference between a ceramic and like a titanium or just a metal?
No. Cow.
Okay, so it is the way that they heat. Okay, so the ceramic, oh gosh, I'm gonna screw this up. Let me grab it real fast so that I can remember. The ceramic heats from the yikes, from the inside out or the outside in? Yeah, okay, I went brain dead. Let me Google that real quick. Difference between ceramic and titanium plates. Okay, so ceramic heats up much faster, within seconds, from the inside out. The titanium goes from the outside in. It has a higher ionic charge that makes the hair straight. So for fragile, more fragile, more fine hair, we're going to go with the ceramic if you're just trying to use it on a straight flat iron basis. For more tightly curled or coarser hair, titanium is better. Okay, so when we're going with our, just want to make sure I got that right. When we're going with our thermal reconditioning system, we want to make sure that we use the ceramic plates because they do heat, a little bit differently, and they're better for hair that is a little bit more finer or a little bit more fragile. And because we've just put all of this chemical onto our hair, it's better to use those because it's going to be safer on our hair. Okay, so does everyone love their flat iron? Maybe, yeah, it's like the best tool ever invented. Are we using heat protectant when we're using flat irons? How's everybody going like this with their hair? Look, I made my hair flat today too. Are we using heat protectant when we're using this? No. Okay, so we probably should. We should be using some heat protectant on our hair. What that's going to do is just put like a little coating on it when we use our flat iron so that we're not damaging the ends or burning the ends. Because, okay, so who uses their flat iron on high every day? Yeah. Do you know you might not need it so high? If you just take thinner sections and, just go over it slowly, you might not need to use it so high. Because I know people, they grab the flat iron, right? They just grab a chunk of hair like this, big old chunk, right? They just go and go like that and expect their hair to be straight. Okay, that's not going to happen. Okay, it's better to take, I saw that Brenda, she's like, yeah. And she's like, that's me. Okay. It's better to take thinner sections, right? And go slower with lower heat. You'll get a better result. Okay, so kind of think about that sometimes when you're using them too. That'll make a little bit of a difference for the flat iron. But for the purposes of today, and another thing that I always look at when I buy a flat iron is the temperature, what the plates are made out of, and how long my cord is. If you have a short cord and you're trying to like work around the chair on a client, or you're trying to just even work around on yourself, it's terrible. I just don't like the short cords. You know, I'm on a long cord. That way I think it's a little bit easier for me to use. So, I'm going to pull up a video for you, and we are going to watch some stuff about this thermal reconditioning. Is there any questions before I get this up? No? Okay, give me a minute to get the screen. Let me get this screen up. I'm glad you guys are making faces at me and stuff today. All right. Seems like I always have some kind of technical difficulty. Okay. Brenda, I gotta put Brenda on my roll sheet. Now I'm talking to myself. All right.
You'll need advanced expertise to set yourself apart and grow a loyal clientele. This means continually increasing your knowledge of new and different hair design techniques to stretch your artistry and creativity. Chapter 5, A Designer's Approach to Advanced Relaxing, will introduce you to some different ways to reduce texture, giving you more ways to help your clients look and feel extraordinary. Thermal reconditioning, sometimes known as Japanese straightening, is a newer texture reduction service offered in many salons. Thermal reconditioning is a texture reduction service performed to straighten the hair up to 100%. Thermal reconditioning follows the same basic texture reduction procedures you learned earlier. However, it presents a higher level of difficulty because the service involves additional steps that must be performed precisely and accurately. First, an ammonium thioglycolate-based curl reduction product is used to chemically soften the hair, as with chemical relaxing. After thorough rinsing, the hair is air-formed straight and then further straightened using a flat iron. It is this use of a flat iron that really sets thermal reconditioning apart from other chemical straightening services. The flat iron used must have ceramic plates, which allow higher temperatures to be maintained without scorching the hair as metal plates might. Also in the thermal reconditioning service, the hair is smoothed during neutralization by combing. Knowing the specific procedures used to perform thermal reconditioning services will allow you to achieve the predictable results that you and your client desire. A thermal reconditioning service straightens the hair 100%. If the client does not want his or her hair straightened to this degree, this is not the appropriate service. However, if you are going to perform this service, you will follow these steps. Section. Apply. Smoother comb. Airform. Flat iron. And neutralize. As with all services, sectioning helps to better organize and control the hair while performing the service. Sectioning for thermal reconditioning treatments will be minimal because the hair will usually be straightened to natural fall from a specific part. The parting pattern used will generally be the same throughout and is most often horizontal. After sectioning, Base cream is often applied to the hairline and the tops of the ears. Since a thio-based product is used, it is not necessary to apply base to the entire scalp. Then a porosity control product is applied to the hair, usually in the form of a spray. For a virgin application, straightening product is applied to 1/4 inch horizontal partings, starting approximately a 1/2 inch away from the scalp. The product is applied with a brush to both sides of the strand up to, but not directly on, the porous ends. After applying to all sections, the straightening product is then applied to the base and ends. Again, 1/4 inch horizontal partings are used, and the product is applied to the base, staying approximately a 1/4 inch away from the scalp before applying to the ends. To perform a thermal reconditioning retouch service, the amount of new growth must be significant, generally 3 to 4 inches, or up to 8 months of growth. The straightening product is applied only to the new growth, using 1/4 inch horizontal partings and staying approximately 1/4 inch away from the scalp. During both the virgin and retouch thermal reconditioning services, the hair is smoothed by combing the straightening product through the lengths that are being straightened. In the virgin application, 1/2 inch partings are used, and the hair is gently combed from base to ends in natural fall. In the interior, the hair may be projected slightly, lifting it off the scalp, and then smoothed into natural fall. When performing a retouch thermal reconditioning service, 1/2 inch partings are also used. However, the hair is combed from the base to the previously straightened area, with extra care not to move the straightening product onto the previously straightened hair. A wide tooth comb is then used to detangle the previously straightened lengths. Some manufacturers recommend testing the hair to see if it has been straightened enough to rinse and prepare for the application of neutralizer. One way to evaluate the degree of straightening is sometimes called a knot test. A section of about 20 to 30 strands of hair is tied in a knot with the tail of a comb in the center of the knot so the hair can be easily untied. If the knot loosens or unravels, the hair requires further straightening. If the knot stays in position, the hair has straightened sufficiently. For both the virgin and retouch thermal reconditioning services, the hair is dried after rinsing the straightening product and prior to flat ironing. The hair is dried with the same parting pattern used for the application. Use the fingers or a wide tooth comb to avoid excessive tension. Both the virgin and retouch thermal reconditioning services require the hair to be flat ironed from base to ends using very fine partings. Usually, 1/8 inch partings are recommended so that the flat iron can be placed close to the scalp without converging lengths, which may create kinks or bends in the hair. The hair will usually need to be projected slightly to accommodate the flat iron. As the iron is moved along the length of the strand, the hair is lowered into the natural fall position. The teeth of the comb are used to guide the hair between the plates of the flat iron in as straight a configuration as possible. Unlike traditional relaxing services, thermal reconditioning services require neutralizer to be applied to dry hair that has been meticulously flat ironed. Neutralizer is applied to 1/2 inch partings. Sections are combed together slightly to blend.
Okay. So that looks a little different, right, than what we've been doing. I'll show you the actual procedure here.
Relatively new to the salon industry, thermal reconditioning treatments have gained tremendous popularity among clients with wavy to curly hair who wish to have completely straight hair. Designers who master this procedure can offer a valuable income-generating service. Clients appreciate the long-lasting results of this service, which saves them styling time and effort. This exercise will be performed on a curly, uniformly layered form. The head is sectioned in 4 sections with a side part established over the left eye. Horizontal partings will be used throughout the service. After shampooing and towel blotting, section the hair into 4 sections. Then apply base cream along the entire hairline and to the top of the ears. Next, begin at the back right section and apply the recommended porosity control product to 1/2 inch partings. Work from the hairline to the top of the section, then repeat on the remaining sections.
Okay, so if you apply that porosity control product, what that's doing is it is sort of filling in all those intracellular spaces, or like filling in the potholes, so that the hair has the most like moisture type content, not really moisture, but it has like an even surface, so it will take more evenly. Sometimes you don't use as much product, and it just kind of helps the hair stay in better condition. As far as sectioning each little section down like that and spraying it on, I don't know if I would do it one by one. I might pick up a section about that size and spray at the top and the bottom, and then move to the next section, drop down about 1.5 inches and spray at the top and the bottom, and continue my way that way, because I think that would be a little bit of a faster application than just one by one like that. But with this, remember, the hair is shampooed first.
Place a piece of paper towel or a protective strip over the front section opposite the back right section. Apply straightening product to 1/4 inch horizontal partings, starting at the top of the back right section. Apply the product approximately 1/2 inch away from the scalp up to, but not including, the porous ends. Apply first to the top of each parting. Then direct each strand upward and apply to the bottom of each parting. Work toward the nape using the same technique to apply the straightening product. Continue applying to the top and bottom of each parting, 1/2 inch from the scalp through the mid-strand. When the back right section is complete, gently bring each parting down. Move to the back left section. Use the same technique, applying product to the top and bottom of 1/4 inch horizontal partings. Work to the bottom of the section and then bring the lengths down. Begin on the lighter side of the front sections. Use 1/4 inch horizontal partings and apply product with the same technique. Work from the top of the section to the bottom and bring the lengths down. Then repeat the same technique on the heavier side of the part. Work to the bottom of the section, then bring the lengths down. Return to the back right section. Beginning at the top, use 1/4 inch horizontal partings and apply product to the base, staying approximately 1/4 inch away from the scalp. Then apply to the ends. Apply to the top and bottom of each parting. Work to the bottom of the section. Start at the bottom of the section and smooth the hair with a comb. Use half-inch partings and gently comb the hair from base to ends in natural fall. Continue working upward. As you work over the curves of the crown, project the hair slightly while smoothing, then project a natural fall. Work to the top of the section, distributing the entire section in natural fall. Move to the back left section and apply to the base and ends using 1/4 inch horizontal partings. Work from the top of the section to the bottom. Then use the comb to smooth, starting at the bottom of the section and working toward the top. As you work, comb to blend slightly with the previously smoothed section to avoid a split between the two sections. Work to the top of the section using the same technique. When this section is complete, use the comb to smooth the center back, blending the surface of both back sections. Move to the lighter side of the design. After applying the straightening product to the base and ends, use the comb to smooth the lengths, blending to the back section. Repeat the same procedure on the heavier side of the design. Work up to the side part and follow the contours of the hairline while smoothing the top of the section. If recommended, perform a knot test to determine if the hair has straightened enough to proceed. Then rinse the hair thoroughly with warm or tepid water until the water runs clear.
So notice how like silkier that product looks. It doesn't look nearly as thick as the other product that we've used before. And did you notice the way that she was combing that? That is really important because that's how the hair is going to stay. The combing, the blow drying, and the flat ironing are super important in this particular operation because that's the way that the hair is going to stay once it's been straightened. This particular one is well, we'll talk more about it. I just want you to notice those few things.
After rinsing, airform the hair in natural fall from horizontal partings. Use your fingers or a wide tooth comb with minimal tension and medium heat. Airform until the hair is 80% dry or according to manufacturer's instructions. Next, flat iron the hair from base to ends, starting at the nape. Use approximately 1/8 inch horizontal partings extending across the entire back of the head. Position the flat iron as close to the base as possible and use the comb to guide the lengths. As you move the flat iron toward the ends, lower the projection angle to natural fall. Note that an assistant controls the hair to avoid the indentations that clips might create. Work to the top of the section using the same technique. Continue and work to the top of the back section. Move to the lighter side of the design and continue using approximately 1/8 inch horizontal partings and the same technique. Position the flat iron at the base and lower the projection angle as you move toward the ends with the iron. Work up to the side part. Repeat the same technique on the heavier side of the design. Apply neutralizer starting at the nape. Use 1/2-inch horizontal partings. Gently comb each parting in natural fall after applying neutralizer. When you reach the top of the section, carefully comb the hair in natural fall. Move to the lighter side and use the same technique to apply the neutralizer and comb the hair. Work up to the side part, blending this section with the back section. Repeat the same application and combing techniques on the heavier side. Work up to the side part and again follow the contours of the hairline as you comb the hair. Follow manufacturer's instructions for processing and rinsing. Then airform the hair smooth and straight into natural fall. The hair may be flat ironed again to finish the thermal reconditioning service. The thermal reconditioning service transforms wavy to curly hair into the smooth, sleek look that so many clients desire.
Okay, so that is the virgin application. See why it takes a long time? All the blow drying and flat ironing and 2 people, and it does take a while. So now I'll show you the retouch. Oh no, wait, sorry, wrong one.
The retouch application of the thermal reconditioning treatment requires as much, if not more, skill and precision as the virgin application. The designer who can offer this service with predictable results will gain a loyal following. In turn, clients will seek out the designer who can perform this service while maintaining the integrity of the hair. This retouch application is performed on a solid form with long layers around the face. The head is sectioned in 4 sections with a side part established over the left eye. Horizontal partings will be used throughout the service. Shampoo, towel blot, and section the hair. Then apply base cream along the entire hairline and to the tops of the ears. Beginning at the back right section, apply the recommended porosity control product to 1/2-inch partings. Work from the hairline to the top of each section. Next, place a piece of paper towel or a protective strip over the front section and begin the application at the top of the back right section. Apply straightening product to the new growth using 1/4-inch horizontal partings, staying approximately a 1/2 inch away from the scalp. Apply to the top and bottom of each parting. Work to the bottom of the section using the same technique. Apply carefully to avoid overlapping the product onto the previously straightened hair. Then gently bring the lengths down and repeat the same application procedure on the back left section and the front sections. Return to the back right section and gently direct the entire section up. Starting at the bottom of the section, smooth the hair with a comb using natural distribution. Use half-inch partings and comb the hair from the base to the previously straightened area. Then use a wide tooth comb to detangle the previously straightened lengths. Work to the top of the section using the same technique, smoothing the new growth and detangling the previously straightened lengths with a wide tooth comb. Move to the back left section and use the same technique. Work toward the top of the section, blending slightly with the previously smoothed section to avoid a split between the two sections. Use the same technique to smooth the new growth from the front sections following the contours of the hairline. Then rinse the hair thoroughly with warm or tepid water until the water runs clear. After rinsing, airform the hair in natural fall from horizontal partings using minimal tension and medium heat. Airform until the hair is 80% dry or according to manufacturer's instructions. Next, flat iron the hair from base to ends, starting at the nape. Use approximately 1/8 inch horizontal partings extending across the entire back of the head. Position the flat iron and use the comb to guide the lengths. Work to the top of the section using the same technique. Note that an assistant controls the hair while working. As you move the flat iron toward the ends, lower the projection angle to natural fall. Then move to one side and use the same technique. Use the same technique to flat iron the other side of the design. Apply neutralizer starting at the nape. Use 1/2 inch horizontal partings. Gently comb each parting in natural fall after applying the neutralizer. Work toward the top of the section using the same technique, then repeat on the remaining sections, blending as you proceed. As you work up to the side part, follow the contours of the hairline as you comb the hair. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for processing and rinsing. Then airform the hair smooth and straight and a natural fall. The hair may be flat ironed again to finish the thermal reconditioning service. The thermal reconditioning retouch application allows clients who have previously benefited from a thermal reconditioning treatment to continue enjoying the smooth, straight look.
Okay, so what do you think about that one? Yeah, no, maybe, okay. So the procedure for this, because it is a thio-based product, so thermal. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do after we meet and greet our client, we get them setting down, we're going to drape them and do our consultation. We want to shampoo. So remember, when we shampoo, we're gonna have to clean our shampoo bowl, make sure there's no water on the floor, clean all the hair out of the trap, walk our way back to the station, all that good stuff. So then we're gonna comb out the hair. Now, when we're combing the hair, we have to be really careful that we don't, scratch it. Even though we're not applying this all the way down to the scalp, we still don't wanna scratch it when we're combing the hair out, but we do wanna comb it out. We wanna section, let's see, comb, section, and then apply our porosity control. Then we can apply product, which is a thio product. Now, when you go to buy these types of products, you don't just go in and say, hey, I want a relaxer, or hey, I want a thermal conditioner. You have to actually look for the particular product. Chi was one that made one really, really popular. Rest came out with one. It was called like STR and then the number 8. These were like the pioneers, let's say, for this type of straightening. They're the ones that kind of made it very, popular. So it is a thio-based product. We're going to apply the product. We're going to apply it 1/2 inch from scalp to porous ends. Okay. We're going to go all the way around the head doing that. And once we finish that, then we're going to come back and apply it about, you don't want to touch the scalp with the brush. So you want to get as close as you can to the scalp, but don't actually touch it. So it'll be like 1/8 of an inch from scalp. Then we're going to comb. We're going to comb this straight. The combing is super important because you have to comb it in the direction that they want to wear it. So think about in the back of your head where your whorl is. That's, some people call them cowlicks, but technically they're called whorls. Right in the back of the crown of your head. That separates there. So how are we going to comb this person's hair? It's really important that you comb it the way it would naturally fall so that it doesn't look funny, Then we're going to, after we comb it, we're going to test it. We do our strand test, the little knot that they showed you to make sure that it is ready to go, or processing time has been achieved. Okay, then we're going to rinse. When you're rinsing it, you don't want to stick your hands in it like you're shampooing it and rough it all up. You just kind of want to run your fingers through it and make sure that you get all the product off of the hair. So after we rinse, we're gonna towel blot. Again, taking care not to ruffle the hair up with the towel and just like squeeze the water out of it. Once they get it from the shampoo bowl, we have to make sure that the floor is clean, the shampoo chair, there's no hair in the trap, wipe the bowl out, all of that. Go back to your station. When you're back at your station now, we're gonna blow dry. So blow drying is really important too. We wanna get at least 80% of moisture out. So like 80%, 85% dry. We can use a brush, but we need to make sure that we don't put the brush in the hair, and we have to use the right type of brush. So brushes like this, where the bristles are just straight type of bristles, are okay to use in the hair, but we want to make sure that we don't use anything that can get the hair stuck in there, because the bonds have been broken. It's in a really fragile state right now. So we need to make sure that we don't do any further damage to the hair or cause any damage to the hair. So we need to be careful with what we're going to use. Okay, so after it's dry, now we're gonna flat iron. Now, flat ironing this is really important also. And the tricky part about this is you cannot put any type of clips, rubber bands, barrettes, anything that's gonna hold that hair, because it's gonna put a crimp in that hair, it's gonna crimp it or put the line in it, and it's gonna stay. It's never gonna come out until it grows out or it's cut out. So we have to make sure that we're doing this with very thin sections. Sometimes a little bit of projection also helps with that, but I'll show you when I demo that too. After we get done flat ironing it, it looks like it's completely finished style, then we go back and neutralize. Okay, the neutralize is what makes it, lock into that position. After it's neutralized, and then we rinse, we are going to blow dry and flat iron again. Our client has specific instructions not to use any ponytail holders, any clips, any barrettes, anything in her hair for 48 to 72 hours. Nothing goes in that hair for 48 to 72 hours. What it's doing at that point in time is it's just like curing so that it'll be set in. And after the 48 to 72 hours, you can shampoo your hair. Now, one thing about this is once it's in there and once you straighten it, you can't curl it. You can't do anything else to it. It's straight. So if this client just wants their hair straight and that's all they want to do is wear their hair straight, this is for them. If they want their hair straight but still want the option to like use a curling iron or something on it, this probably is not the option for them. This is going to make your hair 100% straight. Whereas the other relaxers are only optimum at 85%, this one is 100%. And it stays until it's cut out or grown out. Even if it grows up, you still have to cut the old stuff off the ends. Retouches on this are 3 inches, which takes about, depending on your hair growth, 8 months to grow out to 3 inches. So this person needs to be committed to this type of procedure if that's what they want to have done. Is there any questions on this procedure?
Not about this procedure, but on the other one, on the one that's like 80%, on those, can they use heat on the hair, like curl it or no?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can flat iron it because it's only 85, 80 to 85%, right? So you can curl it, you can flat iron it, you can do different hairstyles with it. It's just going to make your own like curl a little bit more manageable. But this is going to be just straight hair, like stick straight hair. So it works. I mean, it does work. It works really well. Is there
So
any?
after the one that we're talking about right now, you can't put anything in it for 48 to 72 hours. Can you get it wet?
Your hair's going to be pretty straight, so you really won't need to get it wet. So as far as like getting in the shower and soaking it down wet, that's not really recommended. But if you do have like some bad head when you wake up in the morning, like a spray bottle, you know, with some water in it, just to kind of tame it down, that's recommended. You can do that.
So for the perms and oh my God, I forgot. Okay, so for the hair that we're doing right now, right? Can we use dry shampoo on it, or do you not recommend that?
For the after the 72 hours or during that 72-hour period?
No, during the 72 hours.
I would probably say no, because the manufacturers want your hair to stay as, you know, much with nothing on it as possible. But after you get it dried or not dried, sorry, after you get a chemical treatment on it, you may not need dry shampoo for those first couple of days, because the chemicals kind of, you know, dry out a little bit more. So if you're using dry shampoo for like, to help with the oily scalp, you may not see that within the first 72 hours or 48 hours. But if you want to use a certain product and you're not sure if you should be using, you know, say a dry shampoo or a certain gel or a hairspray, you can definitely contact the manufacturer or the rep for the manufacturer, and they should be able to answer all those questions for you. Any other questions? We're going to go on break here if we don't have any.
Someone who has oily hair, could their hair get oily during those 48 to 72 hours?
I mean, it could, but it's probably not going to be that oily during that time, because you just did a chemical service. So chemicals are a little harsher, so it might dry up that oil for, say, a day, you know, sooner than what it would. So, I mean, if the manufacturer says to wait, you know, the 48 hours, it's 2 days. You know, so if you get it done like on a Friday night, by, you know, Sunday night, you could wash it, or Monday morning. So that would be okay to go around for the weekend. It's gonna have that smell too, because it has ammonia in it. So it's gonna smell, and you're gonna smell like ammonia. I don't know if you've ever smelled a perm. Anyone ever smelled a perm? No, it kind of smells like a rotten egg, kind of. Some of them don't smell so bad, but it has an ammonia smell to them. So it's a stronger smell. So after those, you know, 2 days, they're going to want to wash their hair, because they don't want to smell that anymore. Yeah, it does have a smell. It's just the thioglycolate smell that they have. Any other ones? Any other questions? Okay, so it is 2:55. So I will see you back here at 3:05. Turn this back on. There we go. Say hi to Miss Sue.
Hi, Miss Sue.
Hi, Miss Sue.
So we're gonna go over how to apply this. But guess how you apply it. Just like you do all the other ones, right? It's the combing part that is, oh my gosh, that is the trickiness to this. Pushing all kinds of buttons over here that I don't want to push.
I'm also sorry that a lot of people here, for some reason, think it's funny to steal someone's personal property and hide it from them.
So I have my client grade and a consultation, and I know everything that they want. And so now I'm getting ready to start. So I've sanitized my hands, and I'm going to put my gloves on. Let's see, where's she at? So I would start at the back because that is where the hair is the curliest. Got the wrong side over here. Notice I don't have any clips in the hair on this side. And that's because I have just shampooed it and the hair is wet. Not really, but it is, right? You guys can all see that. So I'm gonna put my frosted control product in. So what I'm gonna do is just lift this up and go on the bottom, go on the top, come in the center here, go on the top, go in the bottom, and I have my product in. Start down here on the bottom, spray at the bottom, spray at the top, spray at the bottom section, and just comb it through. And now I have all of my hair with my porosity control, shampooed hair with porosity control. So now with this, that product was kind of silky and kind of smooth looking, which makes it like spread a little bit better than some of the other products that we've been using. So what I'm going to do is start back here and place my paper towel over the top of this just so it doesn't touch any of the other hair, because I don't want it touching any of the other hair that I'm going to be working with. And because it's freshly shampooed and I have my porosity control product on it, I can just kind of part it and move it over a little bit and it'll stay. So now I'm going to start here, applying it a ½ inch off the scalp, coming all the way under through, and laying it over, make it to the end. So it's the same application. It's what we've been doing. Not going all the way to the ends. With this product here, I'm really not going to do the ends. She's going to have about 1 inch cut off, so I'm not going to worry about going through the ends at all with this. And I am doing top and bottom just to make sure that it gets all the way saturated on this particular one, because this product is, I don't really want to say it's slimy, but it's very silky. So now that I have this applied, I'm just going to bring it down. And I'm going to move to the front. And I'm going to do the same thing. Now this is the lighter side of my part, which means it's the side that has the least amount of hair from the part. So the other side of the part over here is going to have more hair. Now, depending on how thick someone's hair is, when I get ready to comb this through, that's going to make a difference on the type of comb that I use. how wide are my teeth spaced apart? That's gonna make the difference on how smooth this hair gets. All right, so I have that section done. Pull it back down. And now I'm gonna come back to where I was, where I started, and I'm gonna come just to the scalp. I'm not gonna touch the scalp with the brush, but I'm gonna get as close as I can without actually touching the scalp and bringing that up. So you have to be pretty consistent in your application on each one of these sections, making sure that you're about the same distance away from the scalp. And when I get down to the bottom here, this is what makes this a little bit more unique from some of the other ones, is that once I stop here, now I can comb. So I'm just gonna bring this down, comb it out smooth. Being careful not to just like put the teeth of the comb directly on the scalp. So smoothing it as much as you can from there. And now I can move to the front section and do the same application. And we're just pretending that I did the other side of the head too. Okay, so now I can comb this front section. So as I comb this down for where my back section is to my front section, I want to blend those two together. So I want to kind of comb that together so that it actually is blending and it doesn't have a gap from when I sectioned it or combed it out of the way, which I was still sectioning it, I just didn't put a clip in it. Now in the hairline, I gotta make sure I get it all nice and even on my application here. How's the hair gonna fall from up in here in the crown area? It's gonna just lay down like this. But how about in the front now, around the hairline? How do we want that hair to be? So I kind of want to comb it back a little bit off the hairline, but I need to pay attention to all this hair along the front to the sideburns and make sure that all that stays nice and oh, there's a lot coming off everywhere. Almost had a big blob on the floor, which happens, you get a big blob on the floor, so careful with that. making sure that I have all of this like blended from the top when I'm coming through it. That all of this is nice and neat around the hairline. Then I'll do my comb test, which I want to check that to make sure that it's taking. So this one's kind of neat, the way they do the test. Just take about, 20, 30, 40 strands, a little piece, not much. Tie it in a knot. It's hard to tie it with gloves on. Tie it in a knot. Put the end of the comb in here. And then tie it around the comb. If it stays, that means it's straight. If it unravels, that means it needs more time. If I was needing more time now and I took this out, I would definitely comb this back down. Okay. So I would take it to the shampoo bowl now that she's done, rinse it, and make sure my shampoo bowl is dried out and get ready for my next procedure. So voila, magic. I have my next procedure ready over here on this side of the head. So now I'm going to blow dry it. One of the keys with blow drying is holding the blow dryer high enough to where you blow dry it down the cuticle layer of the hair. So once I start with my blow dryer, I want to blow dry about 85% or 80% of that moisture out of the hair. Had to plug in my flat iron, sorry. You also want to make sure that your flat iron is plugged in. Look at the temperature gauge. This one I've got at about 400. That'll be enough for this hair. So I'm just plugging my flat iron in. But when you use your blow dryer and you're blow drying this, you want to come down the hair. Use your fingers, come in here, use all your fingers, blow dry it down. Always blow dry it down because this is the direction the cuticle layer is going. If you blow dry it this way, you're just making a mess of the hair. Use your fingers as like a brush or a comb, stick them in there, run them through, bring it down, and blow dry them out to where you're getting this as straight as possible in the direction that the client is going to wear their hair. And just keep blow drying it and just keep blow drying it until it's dry. And look how dry. You see how fast that was? If I turn this on, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. Any questions so far? Okay. So remember, you need someone to hold this hair. You're not going to be like doing it yourself. You need, or clipping it. You need someone to hold it. So we're going to see the invisible arm that I have right here holding this hair. That's not the clip that I'm going to put in, okay? This is not the clip. This is an invisible arm holding the hair. Anytime you get ready to use a flat iron, before you use a flat iron on anyone's hair, the next strips that we use, a paper towel, something white, you want to put it in between and hold it in here. If it turns brown, it's too hot. And you want to test this every time. Early in my career, I burned someone's hair. It was an older woman that had totally gray hair, and I was using a curling iron back here, and I went to go put my first curl in with the curling iron, and I burned her hair. So if you've ever smelled burned hair, you know what it smells like. It didn't completely make her hair fall out or anything, but it scorched it, and she had like white silver hair, and then she's over here with this like yellowish, brownish color hair back here because I burned it. So I said, to myself, that's why in beauty school they always told us to test it on a Sanex strip, duh, right? We tell you to do all this stuff for a reason. So I learned the hard way. Don't do what I did. She didn't yell at me or anything, but I felt really bad. Okay, so now when I go to flat iron this, you want to pull it out a little bit. Okay, so we have a tendency when we put this in to kind of turn it towards the scalp, but if you do, you're going to put a crimp in it, and that's not what you want to do. So you want to hold it out a little bit, and when you put it in, you want to have it kind of towards you a little bit. So use the comb underneath, and usually you want to go about 3 times. So the first time is just like a warm up. The second time is just sort of getting you all that nice smoothness. And then, you know, the third time is just sort of locking it in. And then it comes down and you have your straight hair. Grab the next section, and this is where you hand it off to your helper. Pull down my next section. Have your helper hold the hair. Comb it again. And as I place the iron in, sometimes if you feel like you need to get more towards the scalp, have it more towards you a little bit. You can kind of bump it up towards the scalp, but bring it down and use the comb with you as you go. One. And just sort of smooths all that down. Now, you shouldn't really comb it until it's cooled off. And sometimes I forget and I stick my hands in here when I'm doing this, which isn't such a great idea either because it's hot, right? This is 400 degrees. This hair is 400 degrees. If I go like this and grab it with my fingers like I'm used to doing with other things, it's gonna burn and I can feel the heat. So this is why we use the comb. And it just smooths it out. Now notice how thin these sections are that I'm taking. Thin hair is what you want because this has chemical on it now. I haven't neutralized this at all. This has chemical on it. I've just blow dried it and I've just flat ironed it. And I have to neutralize it still. So it is fragile. This is why when you put the clips in it, those little clip marks will stay. So we want to make sure that we have someone help us for sure. But it's thin sections all the way through each piece of hair. The heat's just kind of like sealing that stuff in a little bit more. So we want to make sure that we keep our sections like thin, 1/8 of an inch thin, paper thin when we're doing this. When we get up to the crown area, how is our client going to be wearing their hair? That's going to determine how we hold our flat iron. When we get to the front, how does our client? And if you need to like say you think, oh, I need that a little bit more right there, just go over it again. About this time, this is the time I would be talking with my client saying, how much do you want me to cut? Because this doll was just taken out of the box and I haven't cut anything off of her hair yet. So I would definitely be saying, hey, how much are we gonna cut on this when we're finished? Notice that was sort of a wide section, so I divided it in half so I have more control over it. If you use a flat iron and your hair just like smokes, like it's catching on fire, usually the product that you have in your hair is causing that to smoke. So make sure that the product that you're using, not in this procedure, but just in everyday life, the product that you're using will work with a flat iron and not smoke. Usually it's like the silicones in the product that cause it to smoke. But I've walked into a cloud of smoke or some grease or something in the hair. I've walked into a cloud of smoke before for people that were flat ironing and the products just, ooh, yeah. So now I'm looking at the hair, right? I want it to come straight down here, especially when I get up in here, since this is the part, but I want it from about here to come straight down, and then from here, I want it to go over. So that's gonna make the importance on how I flat iron this. So I'm kind of taking these sections on a diagonal so I can see how the hair is gonna lay. Which I'll come one more back here. Did you see that? I stuck my finger in there and I was like, ow, it's hot. Okay, so let them up here on the top. How is this hair gonna fall over? Well, if it's gonna come probably more about like that is the way that I would want it. So let's see, I'm gonna come horizontal from the front and work my way up to the crown area with my assistant holding that hair. I grabbed it again with my fingers, I do that. Any questions?
Around how much time does this take? And how much like would you charge someone?
I would charge someone probably about $400, and it's gonna take a good day, probably, at least 4 hours.
You said you would charge $400. Would that be depending on the hair length, or it doesn't matter the length?
No, the hair length. So like this hair right here, probably about $400, because you got to figure out all the blow drying, the flat ironing. That's going to take at least an hour, if not more, for the amount of hair that this doll has. If you were to do the whole head, the application and the processing time is probably going to take close to an hour from the time they sit down in the chair. You get them shampooed, you put the stuff on, the porosity control, you apply it, you comb it, you test it, you rinse it. That should be close to about an hour also, unless they have longer hair and thicker hair. That's even going to take longer. Then you're going to blow dry and flat iron it. And with a helper again. So that's probably going to take another hour, if not more. And then you have to neutralize it, rinse it, blow dry, and flat iron it again. And that could take up to another 2 hours. So you're looking at, about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours to have this procedure done. And if you have longer hair, it's going to take even longer. Or thicker hair is going to take even longer. Just for average hair, you're looking at about 4 hours, 6 hours. And, product use and how much product are you going to use? That's going to have to be factored into your cost too. So yeah, this goes for about $400. I went all day without dropping something, and I do it right now. I always drop something in your class, huh? Okay. So pick it up, put it in your soil container, sanitize your hands, get a clean one, come back and start working again. So also, you have to cut it. And I would give this girl a haircut after the neutralizer and the blow dryer and flat iron again is the one I would do the haircut, when the hair is just nice and straight as could be. And when you get to the front also, you know, people have like little baby hairs around their edges. You know, you have to pay close attention to those too. How are we going to do those baby hairs? How do those edges look? Are they long enough to put the chemical on? Are they too fragile? You know, what are we looking at when we're coming to those baby hairs? And then you have a haircut on top of all of the other stuff that you're doing. So yeah, you gotta get charged for that. I mean, if someone with this length of hair just went somewhere to get their hair just shampooed, blow dried, and flat ironed, how much do you think that would cost? I mean, a lot of the prices vary where you go, but I mean, you're looking at probably a minimum of 30, 40, 50 bucks for shampoo, blow dry, and flat iron, depending on how curly your hair is and how long your hair is and stuff. So, you know, even if this is 50 bucks just for that, then you have the chemicals to add in and all of that. So yeah, I mean, if you're blow drying and flat ironing twice, that's $100 right there. Your straightening is probably another $100 and something. Your chemical price on top of that and your time. So yeah, I mean, 300 is not outrageous for this. 400 is not outrageous for this. Okay, so when you get completely finished with the flat iron and it's all going in the direction that they're gonna wear it, and it's nice and smooth and everything's the way that your client wants it, now you have to neutralize it. So in order to neutralize it, you get your partner again, and you start on the bottom. With the neutralizing procedure, you take the paper thin sections. Okay, so can you imagine if someone had really thick hair and you're taking these paper thin sections, how long it's gonna take you to do this? So you're gonna come in with your neutralizer, you'll have your gloves on, you're gonna place it on the hair, right, work it through. You can come each section, and now you're gonna drop down the next section and have your partner help you handle you the next section of hair. Grab that, your neutralizer.
Is the neutralizer almost like a moisturizer, or?
What the neutralizer is gonna do is reharden those bonds so that they stay in this straight shape. So what the first chemical does, the thiol-based chemical, the first one before you do the blow dry and the flat iron, what that's doing is it's breaking down the bonds that are wavy or curly, and they're making them go straight. Then by putting the blow dryer and the flat iron on it, it's just kind of like giving you that extra like stay straight kind of a thing. It like sears it in with the heat. And then you neutralize it now. So now with the bonds the way that they are, it's rehardening them so that they stay in this condition. And then you blow dry it again and you flat iron it again so that it like finishes it off, you know, so it like gives you that finish, that staying power. So, I mean, if you had really long hair and, I mean, even not even really long hair, let's just say like hair down to your waist, let's say, or maybe the middle of your back, but it was really thick hair. I mean, so thick that you couldn't even hold it in a ponytail with one hand. You know, how long? I mean, that's going to take some time to get this procedure done. So you have to look at the time frame, you know, the amount of hair and product and work. I actually did this once on a live person because I wanted to try it, you know. So it took me 6 hours, and her hair wasn't like, her hair was just like shoulder length. It took me 6 hours to do it. I think it was 6, something like that. It was like an all day thing. So you just continue going through the head, doing all of this, making sure that when you're combing it again in the right direction that you want it to lay, and that it's gonna go. Because once it's neutralized, it's stuck there. It's staying in that position. It's not moving, okay, till it's either grown out or it's cut off. And usually it kind of grows out and gets cut off at the same time, because as it grows out, people are getting trims. So it's getting cut off the bottom as it's growing out from the top. And so it lasts, I mean, you don't need a touch-up on this. Touch-up doesn't come in for about 6 to 8 months, because you need those 3 inches of outgrowth. And how long does it take someone's hair to grow 3 inches? Well, a lot of that just depends on their hair, right? How long does your hair grow, or how fast does your hair grow to get 3 inches? Those of you that have ever put color in your hair, you know, how long before you start to see, you know, a little line there that it grows out? What, a month? You know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? And then how long before you say, oh, I gotta redo it again? You know, 6 weeks, right? And that's just a little tiny bit that you're seeing, or 4 weeks, you know, it's just that little tiny bit that you're seeing growing out. So in order to get 3 inches of outgrowth on this, you know, that's an amount there. So that takes, you know, 6 months or so to get 3 inches. And the reason why you gotta have 3 inches for a touch-up is because you gotta be able to flat iron it. You know, it's hard to flat iron like an inch of hair. So, well, you probably can't do it. I mean, you burn somebody. So, you know, you need to have that 3 inches so you can get the flat iron in there so that you can smooth that out. So that is an advanced processing technique for sure. That's for sure. Is there any questions? Nothing?
I have a question about the packet.
Okay.
So my packet has 2 of every page, and I don't know if it's just mine or everyone else's packet.
Oh.
So do I still do them, or do I just leave them blank?
Yeah, just do one of the pages.
Okay.
So sometimes the copy machine, if we run out of paper or something like that, oh, Max, you have that too, huh? Yeah, just do the one page. You don't have to do the same page twice. But probably what happened was we ran out of paper, and then when we put it back in, it picks back up. But sometimes yeah, I've had that happen before too. So just do the one page in your packet. Oh, a few of you did. Okay. See your chats coming in now. Okay, yeah, if you have 2 pages, just do one. I see a lot of chats coming in now saying, me too, me too, me too. So, okay, we'll have to double check that. But you guys are doing the packets, right? You're gonna finish the packet and then bring it back in Monday and pick up a new one? Okay, good, yeah.
Since I have a book, because you know how I was a student like years before,
Right.
Do I just send you pictures of my pages?
Yes.
Okay, see, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. I thought I was supposed to turn in the whole book after I finished it.
When we can come back in, when we come back to, you know, like physically in the building, when they let us come back, and we're gonna be double checking all of your work. So everything that you do, like the packets they're turning in, so we have it here. But anything that you don't turn it in, you have, that you just bring it in.
Oh, okay.
That's here. Let me pull these up so I can read them. Okay, so Christian, you'll need to come by and pick up a packet every Monday. We give out packets, so they're just, work for you to do. I don't know, everyone's came and got a book, yeah? I hope by now. If you haven't came and got a book, make sure you get in here for that too. The key terms, we're supposed to define the word, right? Yes, you are supposed to define the word. Now, when it comes to defining your keywords and when it comes to even writing the notes and like the packet that we gave you, we do not want you to just plagiarize that and write it word for word. We want you to write it where you can understand it. Okay, so use your words that you understand. Do we actually have to turn them in when we get another packet or just send pictures through messages? Okay, so the pictures that you're sending through the messages, that's letting us know that you're doing work for that day, so we can give you credit for that day for what you work, right? This is an hourly program. It's based on a certain amount of hours in each subject. So when you take a picture and you send it into us, we're seeing what you've done for that day, so we can give you the credit for that day, that hour, in that subject. But the packets itself, yes, we have to have those turned in so we can mark it off on like a tracker that, oh, you've completed chapter, whatever it is. And then we'll give you another packet and we do the same thing. So that's, everyone understand that? Like, so you get the hours for the subjects you're supposed to get it in, and then we give you the packet for completing that particular chapter. Okay. I can't find most of the words. Did you Google them? If you're having a hard time finding terms, Google it. Ask Siri, whatever you're doing. Most of them are in the book. There's if they're not in the glossary portion of it, then it's probably in the chapter through there somewhere. If you still can't find it, ask Google. If you still can't find it, ask us what the meaning is. And well, we usually know.
I have a question. If you forgot to like text message the number saying, "Oh, I'm starting this," and then I've just got done, can you text them like after saying, "I forgot to text you. I did this for this long"?
You can, but we'd prefer it if you try to remember, please. Because if you don't text us at all, then you don't get any credit because we didn't know you started or finished anything. It's just like you went missing. So make sure that you do text, yes.
How many hours do we need a day?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How many hours do we need a day?
I believe you're 5.5. Let me run real fast and just make sure I know that right answer. Yes, it is 5.5.
So basically would it be 2 right now, and then our work would count if we do 5? I mean, what the heck? If we do 3 hours of work, that would count as 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're with the here for 2, and then you do your 3 hours worth of work. Yes. So I do kind of have a little assignment for you today. It's not a big one, but we went over the 5 basic relaxers. We went over 2 advanced relaxer techniques, which were the thermal reconditioning that we did today, and the curl reformation that was yesterday. You can do this all on Google too, or Siri, or whoever your provider is, but see if there's any other types of relaxers out there that you might be able to find, and then look up some of the brand names for like the thermal reconditioning, for the sodium hydroxide, for the ammonium thioglycolate relaxers, for the curl reformation. Find some brand names of what the manufacturers make, and then just write it down on a piece of paper and text us a picture of it. Just put like brand names, that's all you got to title it, and then just send it right into us. And that'll work too. Is there any other questions? And everyone has the text number, right? 526-2040. Okay, and then I'm gonna double check again right now to find out why some of you are not getting texts, so we'll double check on that. And yeah, no more questions? Yes, no? Any-
Question.
Yeah.
For how long are we gonna stay on the hair subject?
This is 2 hours.
I'm sorry, what was that? 12 weeks?
Oh, no, this is 2 hours a day. Is that what you're asking?
No, I was asking how how do I word this? Are we only gonna be learning about hair?
For right now, I mean, we're gonna go into like skin and nails and stuff you'll learn about also.
I think he means like how long are we gonna be in this chapter for?
Yeah. She said it better.
You cut out. When you're gonna be what?
In this chapter, like
Oh, done with this
how
chapter?
like how long until this chapter's over?
Tomorrow. This chapter's done tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And then next week, we have just some like little hair, well, not little, it's not little, but some hair design, like for rollers and just different types of placements and things like that that you need to know. That's what we're gonna do next week. So, yeah. And then we do have another theory class at 1 o'clock if anyone's interested in coming on. It's not the same as this, it's a different one that goes with like the sciences and things like that don't have hair, things to do in hair. Like we're finishing up anatomy this week, and next week we're gonna be going into electricity. So that's from 1 to 2. If anyone wants to get on that one, you'll get an hour for that also. So I don't know what time you guys get out of school, but we do have that class from 1 to 2. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. What if I have what if my classes at school end until 2:30, but I have this one at 2? Like, would I need to talk to my school about that?
That's a good question.
I
I
had the
did
same
this- yeah.
problem, but you would just need to go to your counselor so they can take away I think like 2 electives to make time for Adrian's if you went through the school. So talk to your counselor.
Yeah, I did that and I took away my 3rd period so I could make it on time.
Okay, let me ask the office.
Last year, all the people that had